Hey folks, welcome back. Hope you're doing well out there. So in today's video, I thought we would kind of touch back upon one of the more important core abilities when it comes to, I would say, either working with psychedelics or doing therapeutic work or the intersection of the two, psychedelic therapy. And that is your ability to be present with your own experience, to be in presence with yourself. And I'm going to submit to you the idea that presence is kind of like gratitude and certain other kind of core experiences where you can kind of never have too much of it. Developing your capacity for presence is kind of a lifelong skill to work at and hone and develop. It's something that's incredibly, incredibly rewarding, useful, beneficial, etc. And while some of you might be old hats at presence, and you may know exactly what I mean when I say presence, what I've noticed is that a lot of my clients and a lot of the people coming to me to work with me struggle with this ability. So I wanted to break down a little bit of what presence is from my perspective. Obviously, I'm not a Buddhist monk. I'm not a meditation teacher, but I do have a long personal history of practice here. So maybe I can share something useful with you guys about what it means exactly to be present. So, like I said in the intro here, one of my goals here with this video is to try to help you break down more clearly what it means when people say, be present, or let's be present, or I'm working on being more present in life. I think we all know kind of broadly what this means, but the word itself is, not all that specific. It's hard to know how to be present just by hearing this phrase, be present. What exactly does that mean? So, again, I know for some of you, you know exactly what that means, but I want to just kind of break this down and kind of clarify this a bit, because I feel like this is, again, a key skill, whether we're talking spiritual development, whether you're going to go sit in an ayahuasca circle or just use psychedelics at home, or whether you're doing therapeutic work, again, either by yourself or with a therapist. Your capacity to be present with your own experience is so much of what's going to determine whether or not you have success or not. And frankly, I think, especially at the beginning of a psychedelic process or journey or a path of taking psychedelics, discovering your capacity for presence is a big part of the learning curve there. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it and unpack what it means to be present from my perspective. Take it or leave it. Hopefully it's useful to you. Okay. So what does it mean to be present? Right. I think one of the useful tools here that is also its own tool, but overlaps with presence, but isn't always required for presence, is the ability to slow down. Okay. So part of what it means to be present, I could describe it as this combination of slowing down, noticing the quality of the experience you're having right now in this given moment. So it's bringing your attention back to this moment right now that you're in, not thinking about something else, not thinking about the future, not thinking about the past, being right here in this moment with your attention. That's really all that presence is. And slowing down is kind of a nice entry point into that, because for most of us, not all of us, but for most of us, as we speed up in what we're doing, right? Whether we are doing something physically with our bodies, like playing an instrument, for example, or surfing on a surfboard, or whether we are doing something mentally, like thinking or talking or whatever, the faster we go, often the less present we become. So the more we slow down, the more it's easy to be present and start to notice. Okay. So presence, slowing down, and mindfulness overlap a lot. And we could kind of think of presence as like embodied mindfulness, right? So if mindfulness is the ability to notice the data we are experiencing in a given moment, what's happening in my mind, what's happening in my body, in my nervous system, what's happening in the room around me, what's happening above me, beside me, what's happening emotionally for me right now, what's happening, et cetera, et cetera. All these different kind of angles of experience. Mindfulness is the noticing part of that. slowing down is kind of the pace or the tempo of that. And again, the more we slow down, the more we can notice. And being present is kind of the being with what it is that we notice, if that makes sense. So being present is about being, and it's about being with in the present moment. Hope that makes sense so far. So slowing down is a huge part of presence, okay? Another huge part of presence is allowing your mind to slowly calm a bit. So when we're dysregulated or over-caffeinated or churned up or whatever it is, we'll notice, and this was a habit for a long time. It's still something I deal with a lot of mind chatter. Okay, mind is busy. It wants to figure things out. It wants to jump from topic to topic, blah, 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 filling up all the space internally. All your internal bandwidth is used thinking, right? Now, what it means to be present is often we are kind of unplugging from putting our attention into that thinking and really just bringing our attention, again, back to what are my senses experiencing right now? What do my eyes see? What does my nose smell? What's my mouth taste? What is my, tactile senses, my skin feel? What do my ears hear? And really getting back into this moment. So that's a huge part of presence. And again, noticing all of this data. And I would say doing that in a relaxed, natural way. Right? So when we're present, our mind is usually going to be calm. We're going to have slowed down a little bit. We're going to be mindful. We're going to be noticing internally and externally what's the data in this given moment. And then we're being with that in a really relaxed, natural way. So there's also an absence of agenda, usually with presence. There's an absence of, oh, I want this, or I need that to happen, or I'm trying to, think 4 steps ahead, blah, 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 blah. It's just boom, right here, right now, be here now, right? And it's just being in this moment with this information. Now, depending on your leaning and your bias, you may have a bit of, New Age allergies or Buddhism allergies or whatever, and you might find this all to sound a bit woo-woo and a bit fluffy. Here's what I would offer to you about presence. So I think as a skill, learning how to return back to the present moment, come back to your senses, get out of your thinking in your mind and just be in the data of what you're actually experiencing is a super skill. Okay. I think, first of all, there's a lot of rich information that if we're busy thinking, we may not be noticing that we could be filtering out. That could be super helpful for whatever it is you're doing, whether it's about connecting with another person, whether it's about enjoying your life, whether it's about learning something about yourself. Again, presence in therapy is huge. So when we slow down and we become present, we start to get data that our body and our mind is presenting to us that we've been filtering out because we're busy thinking, right? Obviously, same thing in psychedelics, right? So it becomes a super skill. It not only becomes a super skill in that way, it becomes a super skill in terms of being fully in whatever it is you're doing. So the next kind of step forward with presence from just slowing down and being in the present moment is actively being present while you do things, right? So as an example, using that playing an instrument example I used earlier, if you are able to be fully present with your instrument while you're playing an instrument, say you're a musician, obviously, you will find it easier to play the instrument and to refine your technique and to hear and feel the music. In other words, the more of your bandwidth you can dedicate fully into the thing you're doing, the playing of the keyboard or the playing of the guitar or playing of the drums or whatever it is, the more you're in that, the better you're going to be at that. And you can start to hit flow states easier. You can start to learn better. You can start to refine and really kind of perform at your best. Same thing with speaking. Same thing with anything, dancing, creating, writing, doing, you name it. Life is better when we're fully present in the moment that we're in, generally speaking. So beyond just kind of the woo of this, there is a real practical angle here where the more present you are, the better you are at whatever that thing is. Okay. But that's a little bit down the road again from just slowing down, taking in this data of this moment, registering that, letting that all be alive in you in just kind of this still-minded awareness of it, and letting that be a normal, relaxed thing. So hopefully that makes sense a little bit. Hopefully I didn't just like totally confuse you more about this. Let me know down below. Does this hit home for you? Is this useful? Leave a comment. If so, I'll make more content like this. Just a heads up here, I'm going to be steering the content here on the channel back towards secure relating and talking more about this modality and how to heal yourself, quite frankly, and understanding more about attachment and relating and the impact of relating on the nervous system. And all of that hinges, in other words, psychedelic therapy, your therapy journey, self-development journey, your spiritual development journey, whatever it might be. All of this hinges on again, presence, on being self-aware. So this is going to be useful in context of where we're going here on the channel. And we're going to be really unpacking a lot more of the concepts here, and hopefully you'll find it really valuable. So anyways, that's all for now. Much love, more content on the way very soon. Love you guys. Take care.